सनी आ गया. Hello, hi, all the viewers. Welcome to another Friday Hangout. And for a change, I am your new host, so you gotta tolerate me for another hour or so. So we have gathered here to discuss the second Test match of India England series, and of course a lot of other opinions and the current cricket going on in the world. So let me just start with the first test first day. This at the scorecard in front of me, it says India is 290 for 9. Normally if you look at the scorecard, you would say that England played well, the bowlers did well. James Anderson took 4 wickets. Broad was good, and other people just chipped in with wickets. And India didn't really play well, but you know technically, you would find this that India has the edge after day one because England actually lost the advantage. They didn't really capitalize on the crucial moments of the day, and they let it go. Because the pitch was according to their demands, and everything was in favor. But still, 299 on such a pitch, I would say advantage India day one. So let me go to. Of course, before going, let me welcome everyone. We have our the most loved host actually who's taking a break today. It's Pankaj. Hi Pankaj, how are you?
Hey Keshav, thank you for that lovely introduction. Happy to be here. Wonderful to see you doing this. And as I was telling you, before we went live, that I've not been able to see the complete match whole day or stuff. So I'll be chipping in bits and pieces. So be kind to me during the show today, Keshav.
Sure, no problem. And then we have Amartya, our another regular member. Hi Amartya.
Hi Keshav, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. And how are you? How are you? Happy with India's performance?
Yeah, to be honest, I was really happy with Rahani's batting yesterday, but I thought that they could have added some more runs. But yeah, really happy with the position that India is in right now.
Sure. We'll discuss more on that. And then we have our another regular guy, Mridul. Hi Mridul, how are you?
Hi Keshav, hi.
What's up, man? Everything cool on your side?
Yeah. Too happy to see India bat like that. I think
Sure.
it's the biggest total on Lords in our first innings for India.
Yeah, that is true. That's a bit of a fact there from Mridul. And then we have a newcomer here, Parth Desai, who is a cricket jockey on Radio Mirchi. Hi Parth, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. Hi, Keshav. And I had a dream to have a debut on Lords. Unlike Dada and Dravid, I was not that fortunate, but I'm debuting in the Lords discussion on Circle of Cricket, so it's my fortunate.
Yeah. Well, we really welcome you to our family.
And
Uh,
Keshav, now that we've ensured that Parth has made his debut, and it's a fantastic opportunity for him. And because this is our platform, this is my show, I will be sending you an invoice very soon.
Okay.
and then we have got Sunny, last but not the least. Hi Sunny, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine. How are you, Keshav?
Yeah, I'm good. I hope you're doing good too. Let me start the show with I'll ask Parth to give a good start to this show. Parth, I mean the way you start your radio shows and all. Could you just give a kickstart to this show as well?
Uh, Going by tomorrow, yesterday's performance of England, I think Alistair Cook made a mess of it because they could have done much better here. English bowlers kept on bowling on a shorter length, and they could have bowled much fuller length. And that would have been great if they could have played each and every ball, but they made sure that Indian batsmen can leave that balls, and what made uh, English bowling look vulnerable on this wicket was they didn't made play Indian batsmen that balls, and going by the history of Indian cricket, this wicket won't be difficult to this pitch will be good for the bowlers. And going by the history of Indian team, I believe Indian bowlers will do far better than the English bowlers, because you see Indian bowlers have done well in Perth, in Durban, in Leeds. So wherever Team India has won the test matches, and the wicket was on bit the wicket was bit faster, and they had the wicket had pace in in it. So I guess Indian bowlers, if they do their basics right on this wicket, they can uh, turn a match here, turn up a match for India here. Hello.
Keshav, you need to unmute yourself, buddy.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry, man. Yeah. So as I was telling, Parth, you really put it rightly, because it's the Indian bowlers who really impress on every overseas tour. Because
If you go by Perth, in Perth, Irfan Pathan did a magical, bowled a magical spell. In Johannesburg, Shanta Kumar and Srishan bowled a magical spell. So Indian bowlers can beautifully exploit these conditions well. And if Indian batsmen gave some in this match, Indian batsmen have performed well. So if we go past 300 in this match, it's a great total for India.
well, you are just 10 runs away from 300, so that's quite a realistic idea as of now. So yeah, let me go to Pankaj here. Yeah, Pankaj.
The first thing that struck me was looking at the wicket. Whatever glimpses I saw, we discussed in the previous hangout, how dead that pitch was. Probably the Indians carried the pitch with them to England to play on it, and that's how we ended up in a draw. Looking at this wicket, it looked like it would have a lot for the faster bowlers. It was fantastic to see that, Indian bowlers would now come in. And Keshav, during introduction of the match, I think you rightly put it, that the Indian bowlers would now come in handy, so to speak. And the English bowlers have completely made a mess of things, because when they started, I actually thought at one stage it looked like the 200 is going to be a big struggle, huge struggle for India. Ajinkya Rahane, Jinx, fought it out. He stuck around, and then obviously with performances from the others, we've almost come to 300. It's going to be massive. And as I think it was Mridul who mentioned that it's amongst the highest first inning score for India at Lords. So that says a lot, and we're not done yet. If they can hang around, probably, I know it's asking a little much of the last two, Ishant and Shami, but if they can hang around for another couple of hours and add not just, I'm saying, even if they don't add too many runs, probably another 20, 25 runs, but they just hang around for another 2 hours, I think India can make a match of it, because spending time at the wicket is equally important.
Yeah, of
So
course.
I am actually looking forward to this.
Yeah, I also think once you reach 300, any run after that is a bonus.
Bonus, yes.
So yeah, that's how we can put it. So I mean, as you said, that the pitch would assist Indian bowlers as well a lot. But what I think is that I think from day 3 or day 4, this pitch won't be as lethal as what it is now. So it would be a one-time opportunity, because third or fourth innings, I don't think bowlers would be getting that much of an assistance. So let's hope Indian bowlers pitch it up and don't commit the same mistakes which English bowlers did. So let me go to Amartya here. Amartya, what's your assessment of the day one from Test 2?
Yeah, Keshav, I mean, as Pankaj just rightly said, that I mean, the 290 runs on board for 9 wickets is just fantastic. I mean, that if we could get 300, that is most likely that we get 300. Any run, just as you just rightly mentioned, that any run above 300 is a much of a bonus that we'll get. So much assessment, if you talk about, I think that Dhawan failing once again in the top of the order, it's a feeling, it's a problem each time, because you have Gautam Gambhir warming the benches, so it's a problem. So Dhawan not contributing, Vijay getting at 27. Then the middle order, Ajinkya Rahane, I'm really happy for him. I mean, in the first Test match as well, he was getting the starts. In both innings, he got the starts, and then this time in the Lord's Test match, he got a century. He converted the start into an actual innings, to be honest, and I think he was spectacular. Bhuvneshwar Kumar, yet again, he puts up the same performance where he left from the last match, got a 32, most important 32, I must mention, because it was he that he hung in around there, and he allowed, Ajinkya Rahane to just go around and hit his shots and all. If hadn't been Bhuvneshwar Kumar who has scored 32 runs, I don't think that Rahane would have gone out there and he could have got that. As you just rightly said, that third and fourth innings will be a problem, and maybe the bowlers won't get the assistant that they were getting on day one. I think that yeah, I totally agree with you there that Indian bowlers shouldn't bowl short. They should pitch up the ball on the good length, and hopefully things should turn out in our favor.
Well, of course, Bhuvneshwar Kumar's innings we cannot really forget that because they were really important 38 runs and rightly when he got out, he was almost half down the ground when he was walking away, and Bhuvneshwar Kumar especially went to him and patted on his back, and thanked him for such a support and taking India out of the danger zone. And of course, now we'll go to Mridul. Mridul, what do you think? What's the problem with Indian middle order? Because wickets are falling in a cluster. India were doing good when Pujara and maybe Kohli were playing when they come out of lunch, and then suddenly Kohli goes, Dhoni goes, and Jadeja Bini also follows. What do you think is the problem? I think we have lost Mridul a little bit. So let me put the same question to Sunny there. Sunny, did you hear the question or shall I repeat it?
Can you please repeat the question?
Yeah, I'm just curious to know your views about the way Indian middle order just collapses a lot of times. Like yesterday, uh, Kohli and Pujara were playing. A good partnership was looming. Both were looking well set. But again, Kohli goes, Dhoni goes, and then of course Pujara and Bini and Jadeja. So, what's the problem with the Indian middle order? What do you think? Lack of exposure, lack of experience, alienating conditions. So, what according to you is the problem?
I think the conditions were bowling friendly, and Ajinkya Rahane did really well. He scored a century. He's the only player who mastered the conditions and dominated the bowling on a pitch which was really friendly to the bowlers.
Or don't you think like by the time Ajinkya Rahane came in and spent a little bit time on that, the pitch maybe got easier, the ball got older?
Yeah, but that's not the thing that the pitch is getting better for batting. As of now, I have heard the pitch report that the grass is being cut from the pitch, so there is no green left on the pitch.
Okay. Well, personally, what I think is, of course, Ajinkya batted beautifully. He's one of the bright spots for India this tour. But what I also think is, he really maintained that run rate and sort of that counter attack. So that was very important. And of course, I think he's kind of a VVS Lakshman, who likes to bat with the tail and take the score ahead. And he actually trusts his tailenders. He's not someone like who would panic and who would think too much about taking them off the strike of every last ball of the over. So let me put the same question to Pankaj. Pankaj, do you think that Indian middle order is still vulnerable, and for how long we would keep this excuse that they are new guys, let them give some time?
No, I don't think, Keshav, that they are new. Who's new here? Let's start from the top. I mean, we'll get to the middle order. I look at Shikhar Dhawan. He is woefully out of form, completely short in confidence. So he doesn't look at ease, at peace in England. He just, ऐसा लगता है उसको जबरदस्ती भेज दिया गया वहाँ पे. That he just doesn't look ready. So I'm not. Hopefully, better sense will prevail in the next matches. The next coming 3 test matches. Probably they'll make some changes, maybe give somebody else a chance, because I think it's high time. Yeah, 2 crucial matches, beginning of the series, somebody's not performing, doesn't even look ready. I think he should be thrown out. That's one. Coming down, I think Vijay has been doing decently. It's Virat Kohli, which is a really big worry for me, because Keshav, if you remember, I think in the hangout before the series actually started, almost everyone here in the Circle of Cricket hangout, everyone predicted that there'll be 2 batsmen that India would rely upon. One was Virat Kohli, and second was Cheteshwar Pujara. Now Cheteshwar, yeah, okay, fine, but he's got immense talent. He's ready for test scenario, so I think he's ready. He's fine. But it's Virat Kohli which is really bothering me, because there is some problem outside the ostrom for him, because he used to look so comfortable. Right now he's fishing too much. Anything pitched up, slightly off stump, slightly moving away, he just completely looks at, he doesn't look at ease at all. It looks like any bowler who can do that to him, pitch it up slightly outside the off stump, moving away, he's going to be out. You're just waiting for that to happen. So I think he really need to make some correction because he's probably between him and Pujara, they are the backbones of Indian middle order. So he really needs to come good, and he's a capable enough batsman to make those sort of adjustments between the two matches. Maybe not in the middle of the match, but maybe between the matches, he spends enough time with the batting coach or something and figure this out.
You know,
Dhoni, well, Keshav, I know you're a massive Dhoni fan, Chennai boy, you are, but he's playing with his hands. He's not moving his feet. He's throwing his hands at anything that is pitched up to him, which is not going. He's not going anywhere with that. And if he keeps at it, well, he plays his game. He gets a run 30, 40, 20, whatever. But if these kind of wickets is what is to be expected, I think he's going to be in trouble. He really needs to do something about it.
well, talking about Virat Kohli, I think there's nothing wrong with the talent or the technique. He has got it all. He has proved it. He has got centuries in Australia, New Zealand, South Africa. So I think it's just the pressure. He's too much of talk was about him. Too much of pressure building around him. There was a lot of hype. So I think he's just not able to cope up with that. And sometimes when under pressure, people tend to think too much. I don't think there's any problem with that fishing outside off because he's a talented guy. The record speaks for itself.
But
And
can
yeah,
I just interject
yeah,
here?
sure, sure.
One, I believe that just because you've done it in the past is not does not justify your failures. Saying that okay, he's done it in similar conditions, so he's fine. Because technique is something which is evolving all the time. It might his technique might be great last year. That's why he did so many things. Right now that the failures are happening, he really needs to look at what's going wrong because something is going wrong. There's no denying that he's a phenomenal talent. I mean, as you said, records are there to prove it. But then there's something going wrong, and he should be smart enough to understand that. I mean, at least that's my opinion. I would love to hear from Parth. He's been following the matches very keenly. Would love to hear from you, Parth. That what do you think of Virat's failures? You think because Keshav has that take on it that he is proven okay. These are just couple of three off performances, or is there a chink in the armor right now?
Uh, I would say Virat is a very good player, but a player becomes great when he cope up with the pressure. Because see, Sachin Tendulkar became a great player. He was a good player, but he became a great player because he carried the expectations for 24 years, and similar expectations are from Virat Kohli. He need to spend some of the time on the crease, and you rightly said he is going too far and trying to push the balls which are outside the off stump, which he could easily leave, which he can easily leave, and I think so. I think he just need to he just need to adjust his technique here, because when you play in Australia, you have a different technique, because in Australia or South Africa, ball bounce and you need to shuffle your batting from front foot to back foot, and you need some other technique. But in English conditions, the ball doesn't come to bat very fast, uh, uh, yes, it swings, but the pace from the wicket is not that much. So Virat Kohli needs to adjust his conditions here. He needs to play with bit of a positiveness here, and I'm sure if he can spend some of the time here in the middle, he will get a big score, and he has to play a big role in this series if India has to win the series.
Well, one of the aspect of this situation, maybe, if we put it in this way, that every player suffers from this kind of a rough patch. We know Virat Kohli has been amazing for like months, almost 2 years. So I think a bit of wrong timing to get out of form, maybe. So let's just hope, now he has got 2-3 innings of 20 something. He has got the starts, so enough to acclimatize to the conditions. So let's hope for even bigger scores in the upcoming games. So my next question and my next query is about if everyone thinks Shikhar Dhawan is out of form and the rest of people are doing okay, even if you talk about Dhoni, he has played just 2 innings. One was 82 and one was yesterday. So we can't rule that out so soon. So talking about Shikhar Dhawan, if I go to Amartya here, Amartya, if Shikhar Dhawan is dropped next from the next match, supposedly if he's dropped, who would you bring in? Would you bring in Gambhir or would you gamble on a Rohit Sharma by making him open there?
No, Keshav, as you just talked about Shikhar Dhawan being dropped in the third test match, I think that I won't bring in or gamble with Rohit Sharma because, it's England. You have a test series, it's a long series. So, you have Gautam Gambhir, who has already been in England twice before, and he has got the experience of getting runs there. He knows how to get the runs there. So why not just bring in Gautam Gambhir, who is hungry for runs, who has performed well in the domestic series, Ranji trophies, Irani trophies, whatsoever he has played, then a decent IPL. So he's warming the benches. I'm sure that he's hungry for runs. So maybe this time I won't like to gamble with Rohit Sharma because I think that Rohit Sharma has been brought inside in this team, this Indian team, in the Test team, in more of a lower middle order batsman at number 6 or at number 7. So when you have a Stuart Binney at number 8, I don't understand the meaning of playing Stuart Binney at number 8. That's a totally different point though. But still, I won't go to Rohit Sharma for the moment. I'd like to go with Gautam Gambhir.
And do you think is there any other need of any change, like maybe Ashwin for Jadeja or something?
Yeah, absolutely, Keshav. I mean, why not? Like Jadeja has been productive. You can just say that Jadeja has been bowling well. He has been keeping the overs tight, and he has been giving 30, 40 overs spells. Not exactly spell, like he's bowling 30, 40 overs and is keeping one end tight. But why not gamble with the Ashwin? Ashwin has got a good reputation as a test batsman as well. He has got 200s. Jadeja, he is having already a problem. There's a Anderson-Jadeja problem going on. There's a controversy going on. So, playing Stuart Binney at number 8, I don't understand the meaning. Stuart Binney did get a 78, I know that, but playing Stuart Binney at number 8, I mean, he just bowled, I think, just 10 or 15 overs in the first test match. So, if you are playing Stuart Binney as someone who can just bowl part-time bowler and a good batsman, so there's no point of bringing in Jadeja ahead of Stuart Binney.
Okay, yeah, that's a very valid point. I think even in this game yesterday, Jadeja was sent up the order before Stuart Binney, which I think was a kind of a foolish move because he's a better batsman any day. Even maybe if Jadeja's got a couple of triple centuries, I still wonder how he got it. I still wonder it. People compare his first
Well,
class record with
it was.
Bradman.
Yeah, it was just what do you say? It was in Saurashtra. He was playing in Saurashtra. He's been grown up playing for Saurashtra, so just maybe he had been playing here. So I think Parth is putting his finger up. He's nodding
Yeah,
his face.
it was on flat wickets of Rajkot, and anybody can score a century there. It's not a
Yeah,
big
but
deal.
but still you have to score the runs. Still you have
Any
any
first
kind of
class,
wicket.
any first class player would have scored runs
I,
there.
yeah, okay, so there are two, I see that these nicely a debate is kind of brewing up here. Uh, Keshav, your point is valid to a certain extent when you say that you still have to score the runs. But then, the fact of the matter is to score 100, 200, 300s on that wicket is probably 100 times easier when you get, a track where bowlers have some assistance. So, with due credit to Jadeja, I mean, he's fine, he's doing his job. The pick, I would like to comment on the two questions that you kind of threw at Amartya. One, the between Ashwin and Jadeja. In that, I'm actually okay with either because the kind of wickets that England offers doesn't really give anything to either of them. Okay, in terms of batting, well, even Ashwin is a decent bat down the order. He's no mug with the bat. He will probably give you 10, 20 odd runs. What Jaddu is giving you, I mean, it's just that in my opinion, I think Ravichandran Ashwin is a much assured bat in a test format than than Jadeja. Ashwin looks a little more compact when it comes, technically. So either way, the only thing the advantage with Jaddu is he's a far better fielder than Ashwin, and when it comes to kind of close catches or a quick run out, he is the guy who might give you that. So it's a difficult pick, but you can go with either. But when it comes to the earlier question that you asked Amartya, to pick between, if Shikhar is dropped, which I think he must be dropped for the next Test match, for me, that's an easy pick between Rohit Sharma and Gautam Gambhir. Any day I would go with Gambhir than Rohit Sharma for very obvious reasons. One, experience, yes. Secondly, even technically speaking, Gambhir is in form, but technically speaking as well, Rohit is a more attacking batsman, especially when it comes to slightly short of length. He's a good puller. He's an excellent one of the better pullers in the Indian team, a puller hooker. So he's got this tendency that if it's short, he's gonna do that, and he's not gonna leave the ball as much as per what Gambhir does because of experience, and especially up the order with the new ball swinging and with James Anderson, Stuart Broad testing him. I have a fear that Rohit Sharma is gonna fail big time if that happens. So I would probably go with Gambhir and give him a test match, which I think he kind of deserves. Yeah, I mean, Shikhar was our best bet, obviously, going in, but now it's happened that two test matches, 4 innings, three innings already, and he's not doing anything. Maybe he should be given a chance.
But going by Dhoni's past records, I think still he'll stick with Shikhar Dhawan for another game.
That's true. I think it was you, Keshav, who mentioned this. When all of us were kind of contemplating what will be the team, whether who should be picked, this should be picked, this is my 11, this is your 11. You were the one who said that no matter what you guys say, Dhoni is Dhoni. He'll go with his standard kind of team,
Yeah,
and that's exactly what happened.
no,
And
but I said Dhoni wouldn't choose Stuart Binney, but he did surprise everyone.
okay. So one
But
change, but
Stuart Binney was a strategic decision because sometimes I believe it's not about the wicket, but it's about the English conditions as well. And if it would have been an overcast conditions at Empress, Binney would have been more than useful at surface.
yes, I agree. I agree
Yeah,
with that.
yeah, I think it's
But
a very
Pankaj, yeah,
Yes,
but
Amar.
Pankaj, don't you think that if just Part just talked about his productivity as a all-rounder, but don't you think that Dhoni might have under-bowled him a bit because he just bowled a few overs in the first Test match that he got, and going with like he was rather going with Jadeja. Even Jadeja, when he was brought in into the Indian team in the Australia series for playing the Test series that he got, I think he was brought in because he scored two back-to-back 300s, and he was brought in as a batsman. But then he took 27 wickets and he bowled Clark 5 times or something. But coming back to Binny, but Binny has been underbowled by Dhoni. So Pankaj, do you think that like Binny should be continue batting at number 8? He should continue batting at number 8, but he's. I think that Arvind has just given an update and it's 295 all out.
All out, yeah.
Hmm.
It's okay. We got 5 extra runs, closer to 300, and they got them in the field, which is okay. Well, it's back. Okay, Amartya, coming back to what you were asking about Binny, I agree with you. In fact, this conversation happened a little bit earlier when you guys were discussing about the batting position of Jaddu and Binny. I agree. Probably he should slightly come up at least above Jadeja. He should be given a little more time. He's a decent enough bat to actually carry his bat through with the tail. So maybe I would love to see that. I'm not so sure, as Keshav always says. Dhoni doesn't like to make these kind of changes. He's already picked him, so that's a big change for Dhoni anyway. So change in the batting order maybe might not happen, but I would love to see that. Talking about Dhoni underbowling him, yes, I think he underbowled him, but I don't completely disagree with Dhoni on that. I'll tell you why. In my opinion, as Parth rightly said, that Stuart Binning was a strategic decision only because of the English conditions, overcast conditions, and in fact, just before the hangout went live, Parth and I were discussing that Parth himself was a medium fast bowler, and I was talking to him about the role of medium fast bowlers in situation. Somebody who bowls at 128 to 134, this kind of pace, he needs to have a complete control of his line, and if he can move the ball a little bit, he's a great asset to the team. That's exactly what Binny is if the conditions are in his favor. Unfortunately, even though he was picked for the first test, the conditions were like India. You took him there, you picked him in the team, hoping that there'll be overcast conditions, there'll be movement in the air, he will be useful. But suddenly you had almost like an Indian track, right? So he was deemed useless, so to speak. So, once that happens, I think Dhoni in a way was smart because in such a situation, people like, are Binny and Jaddu. both of them are the kind of bowlers who just have to get through the overs and make sure that the fast bowlers are getting enough rest. Okay, so that they can come back for another spell, because those fast bowlers are the only one who can do something on those sort of placid wickets. So Jaddu was bowling so much, and he just probably realized that Binny is not going to be effective at all. So he kept rotating the bowlers from the other end, and Jaddu was doing his bit from one. So yes, to a certain extent, I agree with you, Amata, that he could have bowled a bit more. Not because he would have changed the game dramatically, but for the fact that he would have gained a little more experience in bowling in a certain environment, in front of a sort of English crowd, and just get acclimatized to the whole scenario. So it would have been great for Stuart Binney, but I don't think he would have made much of a difference to the end result of the game. Yeah, that's my thought on that.
Yeah, I think I had exactly the same thoughts when Amartya asked me, and I think Pankaj sort of went into my mouth and snatched all the thoughts. So, yeah, I mean, the pitch was really almost like a Nagpur kind of pitch, and Stuart Binny doesn't even possess the kind of pace it is needed. So of course Dhoni couldn't use it much, and just to give his bowlers a little bit of rest, he just gave him 10 something overs, and and again Binny played a very important role with the bat in this fourth innings. So I think his role was very well justified by including him in the team. So and now we've got news that India is all out for 295. So we just to satisfy ourselves, we can probably think like 250 was a good score, and we got 45 bonus runs. So yeah, of course.
Actually, we don't really have to think that, because Mridul has left us, but the fact remains that 290. I mean, we got 5 runs extra today. That's just a bonus, as much as we were talking about any run above 300 is a bonus. But it's still going to be difficult wicket to, and you know what? I am really looking forward to the bowling of India, because this is for our bowlers, man. This condition, yes, I was just watching something that they've kind of cut the grass a little bit and stuff. But okay, having even with that, I still think that this is a great opportunity for our bowlers, man. I mean, Ishant, Bhuvi, Shami, if they can have a good crack at the beginning, I think we're in for a treat of a test match.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you compare it to the yesterday's pitch, I think it's a little bit lesser greener, because yesterday it was almost like I probably can say it was a billiards pool table. It was that green. You can't
And
differentiate
on
it.
top of that, Keshav, these morons just cut the grass.
Well, of course they would, because they would be backing the home team. I mean, they have to support them. Like when England came to India or Australia came to India, we provided them rank turners. So of course
Pattu,
they have all the right to do that.
I call them Pattu England.
Well, the way they have been playing for so many months, I think that's the only
Is
way
it
to
is
escape.
it is
Yes,
it
Pat.
true they have cut the grass?
Yes, yes, yes. In
Because
fact,
according to the rules of ICC, they can't, because in 2008, when there was a test match in Ahmedabad, and Indian team rattled out in 76, were bundled out in 76. If you remember that test match against South Africa, just Dale Steyn just ran over the Indian side. At that time, I was talking. At that time, I was talking with the curator of Ahmedabad, and I told him why you have why you are keeping grass on day 3 when India was saving the test match. And he said, according to the rules of ICC, I can't cut. I have to keep the grass which I had it on the first day.
I mean,
So
this is very
I'm not sure.
interesting part. This is very interesting. I would love to actually go back a little bit. I'll probably rewind and watch a little bit, because I think I missed that part, because we were having this hangout, so I wasn't able really able to hear what the commentators had to say about it. But that's an interesting point you make. I mean, if that is the case, and I just saw a small lawnmower going over the pitch, which was probably a show reel from a little bit earlier before the match started, I believe.
Hmm.
So I think this is something interesting that probably we can look forward to and
Yes.
discuss. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I want to add a point here. On
yeah.
this wicket, Jadeja and Binny has to play a big part, because on this wicket, when pitch is doing everything for the bowler, if they bowl line to line, and they can do their basics right, if they bowl around middle and off line, they can get wickets here.
Well, I think they did
Keshav,
cut. I think they didn't cut the grass deliberately. I think it was just the roller which went on to the pitch, and
Exactly.
No, 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 no. It didn't look like the roller. It looked like a small lawn mower. So which they actually used to cut the grass. You know, when they're preparing a pitch from the square, that's the mower they use. So it looked like that. So I will not comment any more on it because I don't have enough information. But this is something I would love to discuss probably next time around if that was the case. Yeah.
yeah, of
Keshav.
course, yeah, man, go on.
Yeah, Keshav. So, this part just mentioned the role of Binny and Jadeja on this track. So, the question I want to throw a question to you: do you think that Binny is being brought into a light where we had Saurav Ganguly in? He was more of an attacking option when Rahul Dravid last went to, and we got the Pataudi Trophy that time. Around in 2007, Ganguly could have come in and he could have bowled around 15, 20 overs and he could have got us a break. So, do you think that we are also seeing, noticing Binny as something of that sort who can come in between overs and as an attacking option who could either bowl?
No, well, I don't think so. That is that the comparison which you just made is. The role which I see for Binny here is these conditions first of all, just to as a catalyst, that performance is Bangladesh where the conditions were bowler friendly. I think that really helped in his case. So of course these conditions are even more friendlier. So what I think is on this track his role would be as equal as any other bowler. Maybe Bhuneshwar Kumar or Ishan Sharma, Mohammad Shami. Though he doesn't have that kind of pace, but I still think like England has the four fast bowlers. Stokes, Plunkett, Broad, Anderson. Same way, we can say we also have four proper fast bowlers here for this kind of conditions. And as far as his batting is concerned, I think he's a flexible player. You can use him in an attacking way. He has proved that in T20s. And again, of course, the way he played in the Lords, he held that innings. His technique was fine. So I think he's more of a proper kind of a all-rounder India is trying to groom for upcoming future. I think people would agree with me here. What do you think, Pankaj?
About what I love about Binny's batting, especially in the Test matches. When it comes to Test matches, people are always focused on playing for time and letting because you're playing towards the fag end of the kind of innings or playing with the tail. You're always worried that you just have to spend some time and play as many balls as possible, which in effect doesn't really do anything for the game. But Stuart Binny is the kind of player who likes to score runs. He likes to play with his bat a lot. So with the old ball, when the ball is not moving, it's not reversing. I think he can be a great asset. He can give you probably 30, 40. And obviously with experience, he'll score a lot more consistently. He has the technique in him. But that's what I love about Binny the most, that he likes to play with his bat. He'll give you a lot of runs when needed, regardless of what the middle order or the top order has done. He will give you a lot of runs. So I really look forward to his career, especially in the Test matches. Yeah, in T20, in ODIs, he'll be fine. He's the kind of batsman. He'll come, he'll spank a few here and there. He can hit the long ball, so that's not a problem at all with Binny. So I don't think there's any problem in the shorter format. But he can be a really exciting prospect for India in the longer format, especially in Test, because as Parth and I were just discussing that the only so-called all-rounder we had for like a decade was Irfan Pathan, who's lost in the wilderness right now. So Stuart Binny, if he really applies himself in the longer format, I think he'll be a great asset.
Well, I think I agree with you, but one of the concerns is his age. He's 29, so don't expect people should not expect him to play 100 Test matches or something. And of course, another factor is I think when India plays the Tests at home, I don't think Dhoni would be playing him because those conditions would be more suited to the bowlers.
I'll
Because,
tell you, what happens in this scenario. First of all, about the age factor. Yes, age is not on his side, but then I believe he still has at least 4 to 6 good years in him to serve the country, which is by any stretch of imagination is not a short amount of time. You know, if he can serve the country, he can do that for about 4, 6 years. It's brilliant. You have an all-rounder, which you never had ever You've just been talking about Irfan Pathan. Suddenly, here comes Stuart Binny, who gives you and fills that role, whether it's for 4 years, 6 years, or another two after that. Who knows? But then, if he can do that, brilliant. India needs that badly. And sorry, what was the second part of the question that you asked?
Well, I just said, when India plays home, I think there would be like a couple of spinners being played. So I don't think there is a
Knowing,
space for Binny.
knowing Dhoni, Keshav, knowing Dhoni, if he gets settled, if he gets settled and he starts really performing big match after match, Dhoni will pick him. That's for certain. Yes, whether it's spinners, he'll cut down on his faster bowlers. But this guy will give you runs as well, and maybe a few wickets. And if he's doing that match on match, Dhoni will pick him. Dhoni, as 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 much as we might debate Dhoni a lot of times that he picks certain kinds of players for whatever goddamn reason, but then if there is somebody performing consistently, there is nothing a captain can do beyond that. I'm not saying the media, the public forces that, but he's not a stupid fellow. Yeah? He realizes this guy is giving you runs, wickets every time, yeah, and in placid conditions, he's keeping steady run rate, not leaking runs. He's always the asset. So I'm sure that Dhoni will, if at all. I mean, this is all this is all a speculation between us. But if Binny can perform and do that and be an asset as an all rounder, which India has never had in the last 10 years, I think he'll be fine. He'll be fine for the next 4 6 years.
And I think what makes it more exciting and interesting is that Binny himself would think this is my last opportunity. Maybe I'll be axed from the next test, so I have to perform. So each game, if he thinks like that, and each game he gives his 100%, I think the results would come out positively for India and for himself. Let me go to Parth here. Parth, now that England has started their batting, and Cook and Robson are there. What do you think? How much Cook would be under pressure? Because he failed in the first test as well. And what do you think he should do rightly to just shut the critics up for a bit?
Cook will be under tremendous pressure today because going by the English media reports and the experts are after him, and especially the way India batted yesterday after winning the toss, English bowlers didn't capitalize on the conditions they got. So Cook will be under tremendous pressure, and to come out of pressure, the best thing a batsman can do is he has to score runs, and he can only come out of pressure by scoring runs. He needs to score runs. England needs him to score runs, and if he can score runs, not a century, but 50 or 70 odd, it will be a great effort from him and for his team.
Can I ask a question to all of you here actually? Cook is being blasted by Vaughan and Ganguly for his captaincy. I mean, forget batting, for his captaincy. But do you think he's as bad as he's being suggested by the experts right now?
As a captain, I would say yes. He's not a captain material at all. The only reason he got the captaincy maybe was because after Strauss left, he was the only guy with tremendous career behind him, and a lot of runs he has scored in every part of the world. So as a batsman, there's no doubt he has got the talent, and 2,500 is not a joke. So I think, and the other people who were capable of being a captain were probably at that time Kevin Peterson, who had a bad captaincy experience before that in 2009. So obviously Cook was the obvious choice. But now that we have seen he has been struggling. He's gone almost like 26 innings without a century, and almost I think 12 innings without a half century. I think captaincy is really something which is bothering him, and I think just like Sachin Tendulkar when he was made the captain of India, and he just couldn't focus on his batting as well. So I think if he fails in this game as well, if England loses the series, he should resign himself rather than being sacked, which is kind of more shameful for such a guy who has such a tremendous career.
Right. Amartya, you agree with the Keshav thoughts on that?
Yeah, actually, I won't compare him with Tendulkar, but I think that the example that he gave is perfect.
As a true Indian cricket fan, yeah.
I didn't compare him as a batsman with Sachin. I just compared that scenario.
No, actually, I was just talking about the scenario. I agree to you. I totally agree. But I think that the batting, the batting failure is somehow reflecting in his captaincy. He's being over defensive at times when he's captaining. I totally agree with Keshav out there because his captaincy has not been up to the mark. After the shocking Ashes loss and then a shocking loss to Sri Lanka, I think he was already under pressure, and now it is being reflecting in his batting as well. And just as the interesting stat came from Keshav, 26 innings without a good score. It's a long period of time. And I think that he should somehow quit captaincy just because it is affecting his batting. And he has been a great asset for the English team at the top of the order. And so just maybe I would like to see him quit the captaincy and give the captaincy to Bell or someone.
And knowing the English media, I won't be surprised if poor Alistair Cook is having sleepless nights because they can really hound you, man. This English media. I have another question. I have another question for all of you. This is regarding England, not the Indian team. Uh, do you think that the English side is too dependent on Broad and Anderson? Because the responsibility of getting 20 wickets in a Test match by itself is a huge task. And then out of the beyond these two, I don't think any other English bowler looks like they can run through the opposition as of now. So do you think they are too dependent on these two parts? I'm going to ask you first. Give us your opinion.
I think as of now they are too much dependent because in the past they had Steve Finn, which is who is not fit for the series. Kim Swan is not playing anymore, and they can't pick Monty Panesar because of his behavior issues. So I guess the meat of their bowling lineup is Anderson and Broad, and they are way much experienced bowlers. So yes, they are heavily dependent on Broad and Anderson. And yesterday, the way Plunkett was bowling was pathetic because if you go by his bowling, he kept on bowling short, middle and leg line, and Rahane was just happy pulling him and hooking him. So I guess they are heavily dependent on. You rightly said they are heavily dependent on Anderson and Broad.
Keshav, your thoughts on this? You think these two have the capability of taking 20 wickets? And see, because in my opinion, Keshav, I have a feeling that the way things are going with the English bowling, they'll have a tough time even getting 20 wickets of India, and that gives a great opportunity for the Indian team, maybe not to win, but at least draw the series. Not lose any Test match. Do you agree
Uh,
with that?
no, I think Broad and Anderson both together have more than 600 wickets, 610 wickets, and more than 150 Test caps. So I think if you look at the last Test match, the pitch was really not suiting them, and they were all tired after a couple of matches against Sri Lanka, which they played, and again they looked very worn out and all. So I think if the other bowlers are there to assist them purposefully, like earlier when Swan was there, this attack looked much more balanced. So now I think till the time England find a reliable spinner, I think these kind of questions will come out. Whether Broad and Anderson are
No, but so
capable.
you hit the nail on the head perfectly here, Keshav. But the question remains: but what do you think? There's no Graham Swan, there's no Monty Panesar. With what they have right now, do you think it's a great chance for India to actually kind of have level the series, not lose a Test match, or maybe win on occasion? Because see, it's a long series, and these guys are already look slightly worn out, as you said, and it's such a long series. These guys would be completely dead, and it's a great opportunity for India to make a statement here.
I think Pankaj, more than what I think, more than bowling, I think it's the England's vulnerable batting and the reason behind which I think would be India's success on this tour, because Cook is horribly out of form. Robson, Balance, and Moeen Ali are very much new, just 3-4 tests old, and Bell and Root are the only solid players which I can see. So I think it's the vulnerable batting lineup which I see more of a factor to exploit and that would eventually become the reason for India's success, because Broad and Anderson have proved it, and they are playing in their home conditions. So Indian batsmen are ought to be facing difficult times. What we just saw yesterday, it was just Rahani's brilliance which got us out of the the danger zone, and it was English bowlers' fault. It was English bowlers' fault to some extent that they didn't pitch it right. But I think they still have the capability, and we should really not underestimate their capability.
Right, right. Okay, fair enough, fair enough.
Yeah. So moving on from here, the recent incident which really got everything fired up. The burning issue, the Jadeja and the Anderson controversy.
Just for the ignorant few like myself who are completely unaware and living in this ignorant bliss right now, what is this Jwalant issue right now? Everybody's talking about Jadeja, Anderson. What happened? Just for my benefit and couple of our other friends out there who might not be aware, could you just tell me what
Yeah,
happened actually?
I'll just tell you, what happened when India were playing in the first game, and India's first innings on the second day, Anderson and all the England players had a huge appeal against Jadeja, and it looked out to them. Of course, they were appealing, but the umpire didn't think so, and he gave it not out. So, and after that, they just had a couple of cold stares towards each other. No verbal exchanges at that point of time. But when India were walking off for the lunch, when they were going to the pavilion, what's there in the footage is that Dhoni and Jadeja both are walking, and Anderson is going with them, and he's continuously talking something, and Dhoni is there. Dhoni is actually laughing it off, and Jadeja is next to Dhoni. He's not next to Anderson, luckily. Uh, and what we have heard is, which there is no footage of. After going inside into the pavilion, Anderson actually pushed him. He actually touched him and he pushed him away. So that's the I think that's the offense which Anderson has committed, and what India has complained of. And in the contrary, England has now complained of Jadeja coming towards Anderson in a very threatening way. So they have also counter-attacked in a way. So both the people are in sort of danger of getting banned for 1 or 2 Test matches, and their inquiries on July 22.
All right, Parth, were you aware? I'm sure you're aware of this issue. What's your take on this? I mean, have you seen the footage? What do you think happened, and how would you like to respond to this? Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself.
Sorry. I think the competitiveness of cricket should be there, and there should be some verbal contest between a batsman and a bowler. But if the things have gone so far, and if Anderson have pushed Ravindra Jadeja, then oh boy, because then Anderson have put himself in a serious trouble then, because if England loses Anderson from here, their entire lineup will look vulnerable, because their batting is already vulnerable, and take Anderson from their bowling lineup, and their bowling unit will look ordinary. So Anderson needs to keep his aggression in control. You need a controlled aggression, I remember some of the incidents of past, and when India used to play, and England used to do this even in the past, whether it is in 2002 or 2007 Jelly Beans, or 2011 when India toured in 2011, they quoted Nasir Hussain quoted Indian fielders as donkeys. So English media really runs through your mind, and Anderson loves this, but Anderson has to keep his aggression bit under control. A verbal spat is okay, but a physical spat is really a threat for cricket.
Okay, I think we have covered all the possible matters, or all the possible topics which we could.
Let us predict the result now.
Yeah, of course. By the time we meet for the next hangout, I think probably we'll be into third Test match.
Third Test match, and India will be 1-0 up.
Well,
Wow.
every Indian supporter would be hoping for that,
Yes.
because a draw here looks very unexpected. So let's see. Let's hope for a positive result. And the the last thing which I would like to cover before closing this show out today is Sri Lanka versus South Africa, another interesting series which is going on, and South Africa have won their first ODI series ever in Sri Lanka recently under the captaincy of Hashim Amla, and now they're competing in a really good test match. Sri Lanka is 211 for 7 down, and South Africa got a big score of 455. So, a quick thought from both of you guys. Parth, let me start with you. How do you assess this South Africans' performance in both the formats?
Terrific team, terrific team. I am a very much fan of that team, and especially AB de Villiers and Hasim Amla, and and the young guy, the debutant guy. I don't remember his name, but he scored a brilliant hundred in Sri Lanka, and and when you
No,
score,
yeah, that is Dean Elgar. He didn't debut actually. He
okay.
has played some matches, and he that was his second 100.
Okay, but he played a fantastic knock outside subcontinent on the turning tracks of Sri Lanka. You need a character to just like India scoring an Indian scoring 100 at Perth or a wicket of Johannesburg. So it was a very good 100 from him. JP Dumini played a very good knock, 100 not out, and now. South African bowlers are doing a decent job. You told they are already 7 down, and I'm very sure Dale Steyn and Philander will be playing a major role in that.
Yeah, I think Dale Steyn has just ripped through the Sri Lankan batting lineup. He has called 5 wickets out of the 7 for 41 runs.
Why am I not surprised here?
So this week belongs to the fast bowlers.
Yeah,
But what a rude awakening, what a rude shock to Sri Lanka, who just had a brilliant series in England, had this
Yes.
victory, and then they're hosting the visitors, and they are knocking, they're
you
getting
know,
knocked
In
down.
fact,
So
Pankaj,
it's
in
a
fact,
great reality
they are
check.
having a wonderful time. They won Asia Cup, T20 World Cup, and now they won in England as well. And now South Africa is giving tough time in their
So it's
own
high time.
backyard.
you
Basically,
know,
Pat, it's high time that Sri Lanka came back to earth.
yeah, both of you, I would put it that way to both of you that if that is any consolation for India, people are going away and winning this series. Sri Lanka won away in England. South Africa is doing well in Sri
Sri
Lanka,
Lanka.
and New Zealand won away in the West Indies. So let's hope it's the time of away wins. So hopefully India wins this Test series. So
On fourth day of this current Test match, India will win.
well,
Wow.
let's hope. Let's hope. I think he's like the Paul Octopus for that Football World Cup. He's the Parth Octopus for Circle of Cricket. So, on this sweet note, let me just finish and thank our all the viewers who really were tolerating me for 1 hour, and because I hosted it after a lot of time, and I don't think I did as good as job as what Pankaj would have done. But anyway, let's hope that Pankaj comes with flying colors maybe the next time, and India has won the Test match. So on that note, let's just say goodbye to all the viewers. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in, and have a great weekend ahead. Thank you.
Let me just get in a last word. Keshav, thank you for doing this. Much needed break for me. So I appreciate, and I think you did fine. You did a good job. And let me just say, before I say bye to Parth, Parth, I hope you had a good time. This was the first time you came
Definitely,
in.
definitely, it
And
was a very good time. I had a great debut.
fantastic, fantastic. So we look forward to a lot more innings from you, Parth, on the Friday Hangout on Circle
I
of
was a
Cricket.
bit
Great.
nervous at the start, but as innings paced, as I paced on my innings, I looked comfortable.
Great. Wonderful. So I look forward to your company next Friday as well. Thank you, Keshav.
Yeah.
You've been wonderful. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
I'll see you
Bye.
next Friday. Cheers. Bye bye.
Bye
Yeah.
bye.
Bye.
Take
Bye.
care.
Bye. 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 Bye.